All right, hey, hope you guys are doing well. I wanted to talk about the replacement rate. I saw a video on the declining population and replacement rate in the not only United States but really across the world. I think the only place that has a consistent replacement level above, or I think it's 2.1 is what you need. So that's the amount of births that a woman needs to have in order to replace the population and keep it the same. Because people are always dying and getting older, and then you need to have births to obviously keep the same level of population. So I think they said sub-Saharan Africa is the only place left that's above, consistently above 2.1 or 2.3 births per woman, and it's much higher than that because they're more of a obviously agricultural, more spread out, not like it is here in the United States and developed economies where it's more urban and you have people kind of living on top of each other. So it's a little bit more difficult to have kids because there's more costs associated with kids in the Western world than in somewhere like Africa, where the kids are probably going to have, they're going to be more useful. They can work, they can help do chores around the land, whatever it might be. And actually in the United States now, I think I saw it was 1.62 or 1.67. So it's right around 1.6 or 1.7. It's gone down. So the amount of normal, births that are happening here in the United States has gone from 2.1 down to 1.6 or 1.7 births per woman. And the reason for that, I think the video I was saying was birth control and feminism and those sort of things, which makes sense. If you have birth control is supposed to limit the amount of births you're having, obviously, and if there's more women working in the workforce, you're going to have less births, obviously, and that's exactly what the data has shown. And then they were talking about other places like South Korea where I think it's below 1. So China obviously had the one-child policy, but South Korea is below 1 in terms of the replacement rate. So they're going to have a serious issue with, and China too is going to have an issue because they don't have immigration. No one really goes and immigrates to China like they do in the United States. It doesn't happen. Now, I don't know about South Korea. I'm sure they get more immigration there from people from other countries, but not like the United States. The only reason the United States population is the same or kind of level is because of all the immigration, legal and illegal immigration that happens. There's people from other countries that are coming to the United States, and that's helping keep our population around the same. If we were just relying on natural births within this country, our population would be shrinking pretty large. Because women aren't having as many kids. There's not as many people getting married. There's not as many kids being born. One of them usually follows the other. So if there's less people kind of dating and less people getting married, there's going to be less people having kids. And the video also talked about the cost of it, right? A lot of people just said, hey, maybe I have one kid, but it's just so expensive. I can't really afford to have 2 kids. And so they're looking at things the government can do, which largely have not worked at all. If you're talking about tax credits or just giving people money to have kids, that's typically not going to work. I mean, you might take advantage of it if you have a kid, but I don't think most people are going to say, I want to have a kid because the government's going to give me a tax credit. Like, they're not going to do that. They're going to have a kid if they want to have a kid and if they have the resources for it, most people, right? But if you don't want to have a kid, then the government giving you a couple handouts, I don't think is going to change your, calculus on having children, right? So you guys let me know what you think on it. I mean, I think, again, marriage, people are not getting married as early, so they're not having as many kids. And then the economic situation of the country is, for a lot of people, is difficult, right? Like, if they can barely afford stuff for themselves, And if they don't have a house, like I've said in previous videos, if you don't have a really high paying job and you live in a really expensive area and you can't afford a house, even if you live in a normal area, like in the middle of the country in the United States, unless you have a decent paying job, you're not really going to be able to afford probably a house and certainly kids. It's just going to be too much. So it's very interesting to see that, though, right? Immigration has propped up the population in the United States. Think about all the countries that those people are leaving, though. Like, they have a serious problem, right? If people are leaving all of these European and maybe from other countries, they're losing people, and they're not necessarily getting those people back. The United States is a beneficiary of getting a lot of immigrants because people want to come here. But for countries that are losing their population, unless their population is having a lot of births and their people are staying within that country, then they're going to have a problem. There's not going to be as many people to do all the things that keep that country, sustainable, right? Food, jobs, infrastructure, it's all going to just go downhill because there's not enough human labor to keep the system going. And the last thing I'll say is I'm just paraphrasing what I was reading in the video, but I think they said for the first time, in the United States, the percentage of people that are going to be older than 65 is going to be higher than the percentage of people that are 0 to 15. So there's going to be a higher percentage of people that are older, pretty old, over 65, versus younger people. And that's not good. You want to have more young people, obviously, than you do old people. So let me know what you guys think. It's an interesting topic, so put your comments down below. I'd like to have a conversation about it if you guys want to comment. And you can subscribe for more, like the video if you want. We'll see you on the next one. Take care.